Welcome, all of you, to Gem Collectors with Shawn, and so many of you do know me as that Shawn. For any of you who are catching this show for like the first time, well, a great big welcome to you also, and I hope that you get so involved that you will continue to watch the show every week, because we've been here doing just this particular version of the show, the podcast, and now on the YouTube podcast for 5 years. But prior to that, here at the huge 25-year anniversary of Gem Shopping Network, we had a live show also for 9 years, every Monday night, 3 a.m. to 9 a.m. Monday morning, I guess I should say. It felt like night to us. So the Raven and I, 9 wonderful long years. Altogether, yep, I make up part of the wonderful family that is Gem Shopping. Especially there's a, there's nothing but the, some of the longest people that have worked here work on this show, which there's not many that work on this show. But Kevin, I think he was born here. Asif, who's director of production, his seniority, of course, all the way, and Latif, you've heard his name, right underneath him. David been on camera for over a decade. So, you know, the whole setup that I have, I am very grateful for. So that's why it feels so much like a family. Now, you're saying, that's all fine and dandy, Shawn, but why weren't you here last Monday? Well, since all of you are a part of that family also, as we have so many times stated in like our Christmas messages that we would, that us would produce, and you'd get to see us. The only day of the year that Gem Shopping is closed, but you get to meet so many of us that you know and hear our names, and then get to see faces behind, like maybe your sales rep and whatnot. But this is why it's feels like that family, is because I work around the same people, and if I'm sick, there's empathy, there's compassion, there's understanding. Yeah, so with you being part of that family, I hope I get the same empathy and compassion when you saw that I wasn't here last Monday. And here is, of course, you're going to get nothing but always the complete truth. I was feeling like Superman. Asif even said best he'd seen me in the couple years that I've been dealing with long hauler COVID. For those of you that don't know what I'm referencing to as far as healing from what. And it has really taken a toll on so many things that I am not able to do anymore that involve you guys, like finding the gold that I am working on and getting out and doing any kind of exertion. Well, I'd been feeling so good that, you know what, I said to myself, I can go out and I'm going to cut the yard. Now, I had Summer's boyfriend, a 23-year-old there, that he already offered to do the yard, but no, I'm 61, I can cut my own yard. And mind you, I may have the biggest lot in the neighborhood, but my yard has got to be the smallest. And all of my homes I've had have been like xeriscaped. No grass. I'm not a grass person. I just as soon pave the whole thing in rocks I dug out of the creeks. The HOA doesn't much appreciate that thought of mine. So, my lawnmower. I'm so proud of my lawnmower. I said, well, I'll get it started for the boy. Because sometimes, sometimes they're not always good at things like that and don't have the years of experience of trying to get a little 2-cycle motor started. First crank, first pull, that thing started up. So I thought, wow, it's going. I'm just going to continue on. Wow. By the time I got from the backyard around to the front yard, made a pass and another pass, there was the Raven standing at the front door giving me the gleam of death, which the Raven is, messenger of such things. And it's funny because at the same point, I had just felt that horrible sense of being overheated, and I was already wheezing and out of breath and breathing deeply. The death knell for causing the long haul symptoms again. And I prayed, I said, so I went inside and cooled off, and I just wondered, I said, we'll see, because I know the moment I open my eyes the next morning, if I will have done myself in. And sure enough, symptoms I hadn't had in 2 months, I created. And of course, the whole story is 2 long haulers, and what me reading, the only support groups I read is of anything is relative to that. And yeah, they say that any exertion is the death knell for bringing on symptoms. And I did it. And actually, you know, against what my son would have advised, what my father's advised me, you know, but I thought I could mow my own yard. I'm not going to be an invalid at 61. I'm better. I'm okay. Well, I tested the waters and I'm not. And I spent the rest of the time trying to be well enough to do my show Thursday. Did inventory, did it all. Come Thursday morning, just it wasn't there. The show, you would have heard a completely different Shawn. So I may have to actually pause a little bit more to catch my breath in this show, but I am raring to go again and have learned one more lesson. And even Harry mentions in here not to feel bad or guilty about it, because I do. I feel horribly guilty when I can't make my show, because I want to be here as much as you do, and I know how disappointed you guys are when I'm not. And that's just something I don't like. So anyway, we have a lot to do. I have new stuff, cool stuff, sale stuff, trivia gift to give away. Let's see if we have any trivia winners. Okay, so I'm going to get going. That's why. Also, ladies, moms, happy Mother's Day. I know you'll see this the day after, but happy Mother's Day. Anyway, as one who has lost my beloved mom, I guess, 29 years ago or so, 30 years ago, miss her every day. Never a day passes that there's, yeah. So we won't talk about that, because you know what? It brings out a sensitive side of me, if you haven't already seen that one. Okay. Yeah, so do forgive me for not making the show. I just do want to say that believe me, I do everything I can to be here. And I just don't like it when I'm not. And the way you guys, these read, you know, I can tell that you care, and I appreciate that. All right, here we go. Let's get started. All right, where do we go? Okay, Harry has a really cool ring. He put a beautiful Imperial Topaz in it. He was curious about the value of it. He sent me a picture of it. And one of the things that's funny, you know, I've owned 2 different jewelry stores in my time, and they're still both operating. They're legacies that I'm leaving behind, because I have sold them along the way after creating them, each about one 7 years after, the other about 10 years after creating it. And, you know, people would call and they'd, on the phone, and they would describe their ring, and then they'd say, how much is it worth? And, you know, I said, well, if you just hold it a little closer to the phone, I can give you a better idea. And of course, that was in a snarky way to, you know, kind of make them realize that, yeah, I can't really give a value in that. A picture does help, though, and Harry sent me a picture. But in all reality, I mean, by way of the color of the Imperial Topaz, the picture would have to be better detailed to get any idea, and some more other exact information. But that's just something that I try to stay away from doing those kind of evaluations without ever personally getting to at least hold the ring and look at it personally. So sorry about that, Harry, if we don't try to figure that one out. But it's a great ring. Beautiful piece. And your choice of putting an Imperial Topaz in it is a really good one. And that huge Swarovski crystal that you cut into Cleopatra's eye. That's amazing. How do you, boy, that's a project. All right, now, Miss Gabby. Well, hello again, my friends. Yes, Shawn, I noticed the haircut. You know, it's funny. I was waiting to see. And I went, the last show I did, no one said anything in the comments after. Bingo, Miss Gabby, you're the first one. And yes, it's, then, okay, listen, I noticed the haircut. Did you do it yourself? Okay, that's one of those, when they ask that, it's like, okay, does it look that bad? Because if you missed it many, many months ago, I don't cut my hair often. Many months ago, I had this really brilliant idea of cutting my own hair. And yes, I did this again myself, but I think I'm getting better. And so I thought, okay, well, you know, a barber pole has that image of, you know, the spinning red and white curls going up it, and it gave me the idea. And I can braid up to a 7 chain braided necklace. So, you know, I'm good with that kind of thing, because remember the 80s when the braided chains to get the wider look, so they would braid, and then, but you know what? They'd break. And so I would have, that's how I had to learn. So can you imagine working my fingers back then, back and forth, and re-braiding? Yep, could do it. Most people can only do 3. 7 is quite the challenge. To exactly remember which, anyway, I had the great idea thought to myself, I could, okay, because my hair was real long, if I just take my hair and I wrap it around each side of it like that, then cut straight across the bottom, I said, I'm bound to get both ends done at the same spot. They'll be even. Well, I didn't take into effect, maybe it was the Coriolis principle or something like that. Because, of course, what happened was one side slanted that way and the other side pretty much slanted the same direction. I don't know what I did, but it was bad. So my hair ended up being, I had to call in the Raven for a little help there, shorter than I intended it to. I'm learning. Yeah, it's tough to teach me things, but I'm learning. So yes, I cut my hair, and it took a couple times. I think I had to call on the Raven again. But yeah, I cut my hair. It was a good 6 inches. It was a good 6 inches. And you know, normally I'd probably see it and whine. I made that decision to cut that much hair off. We were trying to get out the door to come over here, and so I was just finally, you know, doing my final primping, as Raven would say. She says I have more hair products than her. Not true. But I do know about the different strengths and holds of hairsprays. So, in the last moments when we're needing to get out the door, I said, I think I'm going to cut my hair. She said, now? I said, yeah. So that's, you know, how much thought I gave to the process of lopping off what so many other men my age would love to be able to just, you know, take a stapler gun and staple it on top of their, you know, bald head. That's not my issue. Nope. I am, my dad, 91 years old, still has a rocking head of hair, and never dyed, very few grays. I used to be able to say no gray, but she kept correcting me every time. Yes, you do. You have some gray. Okay, I got some gray. And cut off 6 inches like it was nothing. Because you know, I did find out it grows back. Any more than that, though, I think it would affect my powers. Truly. Now, you know what? I am that old hippie. Always have been. I've had long hair since I was 17 years old. Graduated high school in 1979. I am that 70s show. I am the last of that generation. And I'm hanging on to it. Okay, so, well done there, Miss Gabby, on noticing. Now, I can just hear you thinking I'm making fun, but that's not the case. Looks good. Woohoo, more ornaments on the way. Yes, they are. Summer's hard at it. And question, can you tell Andy I said hello? I will. I will tell him that. Trivia. Okay, so the questions to the trivia were, name the 3 countries that I had mentioned that chrysoprase is found in. Answers being Poland, Australia, and Ethiopia. Even showed you some rough Ethiopia. And the other question was, what color did I mention was the primary color that is usually associated with brucite instead of that beautiful neon yellow? And the answer to that I had mentioned is a blue-gray color. Okay, so those were the questions and answers. Let's continue. So, Miss Gabby got the answers correct on both, but opted out of entering the drawing. And she says, hey, Summer, sending more pics in another email, which I got and forwarded to her already. The wolfenite is relatively small, but it's beautiful, transparent yellow crystals. Yeah, your new pictures you sent are great, and I love that Georgia fluorite. And so I'll be anxious to see what she does with those. And I'll pass on your note to her. All right, then we have Harry in Pennsylvania. Hey there, Professor Shawn, Raven, and GSN. I was just thinking, where to start? Well, you had a good week physically. Awesome to hear. Myself, I went down to the bottom of the barrel. Ugh. I caught the flu, and I've never had one in my life. And I'm only just starting to feel a little better because, like you, I am also a compromised person as well. A conqueror of my lung cancer 2 years ago. Well done. But this has just about done me in, Shawn. 2 trips to the ER and a 2-day stay. Ugh. Good thing I went. I would not be here if I had not. Anyway, I am 1 week in and got a week to go till I will feel much better. Man, what a trip. There is a good light shining down right now. It's this show. Thank you. My trivia prize showing up today, and it's my birthday as well. Wow. Happy birthday to you, and that's the magic of the show. That trivia gift could have showed up any other day. The fact that you wanted a loan for your birthday was cool, but the fact that it showed up on your birthday is even more cool. And you know what? I wish I could remember which one of the family that happened to, but it wasn't that long ago. The same thing happened to another winner, and as a birthday present as well. So, magic of the show. Love them rubies. Very nice red, red, red. I am so happy to have this show to look forward to. See, that's why I try so hard to get here. I can remember back in the early days of faceting, watching the jewelry segments of GSN and holding up my cut stones to the ones in the jewelry pieces. Then one day, there you were, a new avenue of this show, and I'm just saying to you, buddy, I am grateful you are with this company. You belong there. They are blessed to employ you. Okay, all that said, make sure to keep up with all them Mo Money appointments. God bless you all in your neck of the woods. That's a very wonderful, kind thing you wrote, and very complimentary, and not only for speaking for myself, but and my incredible team here, but also for all of GSN. Thank you, because you're going to get to see a couple of neat productions that Asif produced that will be posted, I know, at least probably on the website, of celebrating the 25 years of gem shopping. So what you want to make sure, it hasn't posted yet. There'll be 2 different versions. Look for the longer version. You will get to see a lot of different people and history of gem shopping, the real story. And that's what Asif has worked so hard on telling. So look forward to that and make sure that you take the time to watch the video. I'm looking forward to it. I know I came in that special day, I mentioned it the other week, to do my interview. And it really tells the whole story. And if anybody could tell it, it's Asif. He's been here from, well, plenty long enough to be able to tell the complete, real story of gem shopping. Okay, trivia. Let's see. 3 countries. Chrysoprase is mined in Queensland. I will accept that as Australia, sir, because yes, a lot of the mines are in Queensland. Brazil and California. Well, 1 out of 3 ain't bad. No. Number 2, believe you mentioned the brucite as a pale green, as I kind of feel like pale brown. It does sometimes come in a pale green, but the color that I mentioned and was looking for was the bluish gray. You're having a tough week there. Take a couple more, get that fever down, and I'm sure all those answers would have been correct. Anyway, I enjoyed the show this week, and it helped me feel better. Well, that's all it really counts. That's excellent. P.S. Did you see the ring I made my daughter? Yes, I did. That's what we talked about, the wonderful Imperial Topaz. So that's really cool. And a great job that you did. Hope you have recovered. Miss Cindy says, hello, Rock Family. Shawn, very good show. Wonderful specimens. I very much enjoyed this week. Trivia, Ethiopia, Australia, and Poland. I drew a picture of the earrings I imagine made with those chrysoprase from Poland. Very cool. Isn't that neat to be able to, in your mind, see them and then create kind of designs for them? And I used to call it the blueprints. I loved it when clients actually would come in with their own drawings and their conceptions of what they wanted the piece to be, because it gave me, well, a picture's worth 1,000 words. So we could have, with a client, talk back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And I could maybe, I cannot draw a stick man. So, they knew they couldn't expect for me to draw some fancy drawing. If they drew the most primitive of ideas, then it would say so much more to me. But I had some clients, and really it's funny how one goes with the other. The majority of them were engineers. I mean it. It didn't matter if they were engineer. They didn't have to be an architectural engineer. They could have been a landscaping engineer. All I had to do have the word engineer. They would come in with blueprints that, used a little graph paper, and each little square was so much relative, ratio to this and that. It was crazy. And I had to try to hand carve the waxes. Nowadays, what? They got the 3D, machines that are incredible, and the CAD/CAM machines that do all this automatic cutting. My day, all by hand. Those were the times. If you want to see me carve a wax by hand, check out the 30 episodes. Not only can you see me carve a wax by hand and create a ring, the ring I wear, that way, but you also get to see me alloy rose gold and create a stunning pendant that fits the legal definition required for a piece to be called handmade, which was revised and made a lot stricter by the FTC. So you get to see both pieces made. Just go to the Learning Center of Gem Shopping's website and click on it. You'll see me, and then you'll see the link to those episodes. There's 30 of them. You will be so informed and really get an incredible grasp of the metallurgical side to what gem shopping brings you versus the elemental gemstone side. Yeah, because in this show, we talk chemicals, we talk elements. We take it from the element, in other words, the ground, all the way to the finished product into your hands. That's what we do. 25 years now. So Miss Cindy goes on. She gets the answers right there. Well done. Take care, everyone, and be good to yourselves. Cindy in South Central Pennsylvania, where we have 3 glorious 70 to 80 degree days, back down to 40 to 50 degrees midweek. Oh, I so wish that it has already gotten too hot for me, unless it's early morning. And I already realized I cannot exert. So we're going to have to pass on this summer for doing, well, I did bring up, though, last season when it was cooler, dirt from the area I'm working where I think the gold is gathered, and I can work with that and run it through the plant in an air-conditioned environment. So we'll see if I can get to that. Mr. Anthony says, hello all, great show. I enjoy seeing the Raven's jewelry, don't we all? She still comes up with pieces that I swear, I've never seen that before. I tell her, she goes, yes, you have. I don't know. Nice job on the Montana agate pendant inspiring, and the lavender star sapphire just outstanding. Shawn, have you seen or come across Tibetan aquamarine? I have never seen a blue quite like it. Yeah, there's a reason, Anthony. Chrysoprase mined in mentioned countries: Australia, Ethiopia, and Poland. Correct. Brucite colors associated with blue-gray. Correct. I had to have the chrysoprase faceted set from Poland, which was a nice surprise being faceted. And from Poland, I didn't know it was mine there. Also picked up the androdite and emerald crystals. Ah, well done. Good on you, mate. Excellent job. Excellent. You know, just like drawing out a design with those chrysoprase pieces in your mind or on a piece of paper, they were so unique that there is so much you can do with them, especially with the matching round stones. And I'm sure you have looked into and searched now about the chrysoprase in Poland. To me, if you laid out the three chrysoprase, Ethiopian, Polish, and Australian, I know, and I'm not bragging, I just know for a fact, because I've seen enough material, that I could tell you which was which. I actually did a chrysoprase presentation here a couple years ago where I brought in the different chrysoprase and showed and talked about the different colors. The faceted material of the Polish material is so totally beautifully unique. I think you'll really enjoy it. And you know, someone like you, Mr. Anthony, who is a faceter, can really appreciate what it would take just to get the rough to cut two stones that size that match in color. They have to come from the same piece of rough. And Polish chrysoprase, that much rough, trying to find it without any other inclusions, think about what that would take and how much it would cost. And they wouldn't be faceted yet. So anyway, I'm glad to see that you appreciated that. Now, regarding the Tibetan aquamarine, okay, so, you know, they overuse the word Tibet because it conjures up in, especially old hippies like me and so many other people like in my age range, the Dalai Lama. And all the good that the Dalai Lama has done and fighting for free Tibet, the big slogan back then and whatnot. Tibet is such a remote place that you can claim something is from Tibet and no one is going to be able to travel there to prove you any different. This happened with the sunstone debacle, which we're not going to go into, but the diffuse sunstone that the mine was supposed to be in this place in Tibet. A group actually went out there, and prior to that, and this all unfolded, they had scattered some feldspars on the ground to be found, and that was supposed to be the mine. Well, it was all a big hoax. That's just it. Tibet's a big place. And to prove anything other, if you say something's from Tibet, is how you going to do it? Okay, now, there is Aquamarine. It's in the eastern edge of Tibet, and one of the main areas is like in the Pingwu mine, the Pingwu barrel mine. If you're talking about, you mentioned as far as never seen a blue quite like it, the blue color, it's in the area of Sichuan, China. So, you know, edge of Tibet, maybe technically Tibet. And if you saw an abundance of an unusual color, what's happening is there's a lot of a Rongo Namibian Tourmaline, and I have some. I've sold you all some. I have sold you some that is this incredible blue color, beautiful blue color, and it's a Rongo material. The material I have seen being offered from, and quote, as Tibet, to me, looks like a Rongo aquamarine. There is aqua from Tibet there, but it's one of those buyer beware kind of things. Because it sounds much more exotic to say it's from Tibet, and how would you prove otherwise kind of thing. It's really where you got to trust your dealers and who you're working with in regards to that. So in general, I'm only familiar with Tibetan aquamarine from a distance. I haven't held any in my hand or have seen any that I could confirm and know to be for certain to be Tibetan aqua. And that's the end of my knowledge on that one. Anthony getting all the answers right. And good job again. By the way, it's the Huya, H-U-Y-A, fault zone of Tibet that produces the aqua, if you want to look into that further. Peggy in South Carolina, good day to you, Shawn, Raven, Gem Crew, and the Great Rock family. I am loving the weather around here. All the flowers, grasses, and trees are blooming, adding so much color to the world. This makes me want to go out in the woods and creeks near me to look for some local minerals. Better. However, that adventuristic impulse must wait because I must see your show. Now that's putting your priorities right where they belong. Good for you. Although I don't know, rock counting, if you can record my show, but then you might miss out on some of the good stuff that you saw. So, you can rock count right afterwards. I must see your show, she says. And it was definitely worth it. You really bring the goods. Thank you. I hope this weather has brought you out into the world to find that gold. Yeah, it did. And it made me sick for a week. I was so angry at myself for doing that. And you know what? Raven was angry with me, rightfully so. She told me to start with to have the 23-year-old do it. You know what? I did. As soon as that hit, had the 23-year-old come out and do it. Stubborn. But I also am so ready to heal. I am so ready for this to be behind me, but it is not ready for me to be done with it yet. That day will come. And then, of course, I had my mental backlash from all that and the disappointment within myself. But anyway, I'm back. I'm here. I'm going. Okay, now, well, off to another beep doctor's appointment. Remember, Shawn, do what the doctors tell you to do. I actually did go to my back doctor I go to, and I took him my lab results for a second opinion. He did make me feel better about things. So it's always good to get a second opinion. I can see that. He clarified a lot of the other results that the first doctor didn't even inform me, and also made things seem worse than they were. Miss Elisa from Florida. Hello, Professor Shawn, the lovely Raven, GSN crew, and Rock family. Thank you so much for another awesome show. Shawn, the Axonite looks amazing. I can't believe the optical properties it has, and you have done such a great job cutting it. So really showcase that property. I loved how excited you sounded about cutting and working on it. Thank you for showing the Raven's gorgeous star sapphire. Truly amazing. I also loved the agate necklace she made. We actually sold that piece. It's the 39th anniversary gift, is agate. If any of you have a 39-year anniversary coming. So my doctor did. And it wasn't a piece we would normally have sold, but it was neat. We were able to keep it in the family. And that's why I sold it. Maybe I told you the same story. You know, that's what Long Haulers does. 2 weeks ago, I probably forgot everything, any of my stories I told you. But they'll be the same stories because I always tell the truth. That's the bad thing about liars. They can't tell the same story twice unless they have a really good memory. And that always fades. The Raven did a fantastic job. Very talented. My answers to this week's question are, well, how about this? All correct. Good job to you, Miss Elisa. And yeah, you know, she actually has another sapphire on. If we get a chance, maybe I'll show it to you. I don't know if she's steamed it off or cleaned it. I wanted it to. It is her, well, it is a faceted sapphire of phenomenal color. It would be if you wanted ever a color in a sapphire that was to be in the blue range, it is in that range and that intensity. So we'll see. Okay, trivia from Mr. Brad in Pennsylvania, getting Poland, Ethiopia, and Australia, and getting the brucite correct. Greetings to Raven, Shawn, awesome gem shopping staff, and the whole rock family. Hoping all is well. Shawn, you mentioned skipping stones when you were talking about kyanite. I grew up spending summers at Grandma's cottage on a lake in Michigan. Petoskey Stones. Boy, you couldn't ask for better skippers than those. My cousins taught me to skip stones across the water. We would take a plastic gallon jug, tie a rope to the jug and to a brick and toss it out into the water as a target. You know, all the times I've been on water and I have never thought about doing that. What a great idea. I would spend hours throwing rocks at the jug with my cousins. I stood on that shoreline for many years, skipping stones, fishing for bluegills, and hunting for crayfish after dark. I love to hunt crayfish. Then one day, when I was in my 20s, I was picking up some skipping stones at the cottage. I found a small, perfect arrowhead. It sits in my tackle box to this day, one of the best treasures I have ever found. Good memories. You know, I run all this dirt through right in the middle. I mean, we live no more than about a mile from the Trail of Tears, which is when they march the, tens of thousands of Cherokee and Creek Indians out to Oklahoma after the gold strike to move them off their native lands, the Cherokee Nation, and get them out of the way, and hence the Trail of Tears. So they lived in this area, for eons, generations and generations and generations. The amount of dirt I have run through my sluice looking for even a shard of pottery, any piece of arrowhead, even a portion of one. Believe me, I know a lot about those things as well. Not a single piece of Indian anything. Can't believe it. I've used my metal detector, found all kinds of homesteaders' hand-wrought iron pieces. I've showed you some in this show. But to not find, it almost goes against the odds to not have found an Indian artifact. I don't understand, but I am still looking. So good on you, mate. You got yours early on in life. And speaking of treasures, I took a look at the Brandberg Amethyst that you gave me. I am doubtful either of them qualify as muso habits, but one of them has a nice phantom. I examined it with my 10-power loop to see if the phantom might be a muso habit. If I stare long enough and use my imagination, I can fantasize that it might be. Oh, I have been there. But I would have to clean up the back faces of the crystal to remove oxidation to see into it to be sure. But for now, I stare into the front face and imagine that it might be the rarest muso habit amethyst ever found. I have no doubt, Brad, that it is. I stand with you. So my prayer for all you rockhounds out there is that you find a special treasure that captures your imagination and reminds you of some special memories. Very cool. Very cool. Miss Ursula says, Shawn, hello, and it appears the gremlins have gotten into my PC and messed with my draft, hence I'll send you a shorter version of my previous letter. LOL. You did mention that crystal braids are produced in Poland besides Australia and Ethiopia, and yes, I do remember this unusual looking brucite specimen while you pointed out that the commercial grade brucite is sold mostly in a blue-gray color. So she gets all the answers right. It was a delight to see you back with much enthusiasm and wish you all the very best in your continued efforts to regain your health. Thank you, Miss Ursula. And you know what I learned? I just cannot, 2 years into this and I still cannot rush it. Yeah, air quotes. Miss Barbara says, hi, Professor Raven, GSN crew, and the whole rock family. Writing late since the past few days have been quite busy. I just received the brucite in the mail this afternoon. Wonderful sample with white on yellow. Never seen that combo, even from the high-end dealers. Scores, she writes. Look at, and I tell you what, Miss Barbara is one of the most learned and geologically educated people within our rock community. I could just tell she has a level of knowledge in areas even beyond mine. So, for her to say that, and she gets out and about and she sees a lot score. I knew what I had in that brucite. That's why I had hung on to it for so long. But it's always very cool when I sell something at a really good value and tell you how unusual something is. It's always really cool for it to be recognized by all of you out there, and for that to be realized by those in the know like that. And so yeah, makes it all worthwhile. Thanks for another great show. Lots of goodies to choose from and info to absorb. Just watched Sally Mangana of GIA do a presentation about chameleon diamonds as part of the virtual Sinkankus Symposium, where she showed the technical reasons for what happened to you at 17 years old. That was cruel that no one told you the diamond might change color with heat. Hazing the rookie, I guess. Oh, it was definitely that. As to the trivia, well, let's see. Poland, Ethiopia, and Australia have chrysoprase, and brucite is more frequently brown. But so glad for the new find of sunny yellow. So we were looking, the answer we were looking for was, what color did I mention it was most commonly found in? So the color I was looking for, which ones I mentioned. Now, brucite is found in a brownish color, but not very commonly, because most of the time, if it's brown, it's a reddish brown, and it's due to manganese. It's called a manganoan brucite. It does come and is found in some of the other colors, but brown will be not as common. Got to get back to watching the rest of the Symposium podcast before the weekends. Be well and enjoy your springtime. Miss Barbara from Brooklyn. Thank you very much for, again, the nice things. And yeah, if y'all missed and don't know what I'm talking about chameleon diamonds, go, of course, back to Gem Collectors with Shawn, YouTube. You can always find it there, or on Gem Shopping, and watch last week's, the last show's presentation, and how I, someone referencing a chameleon diamond, how I talked about them and my experience with them. Yeah, it was much fun at 17 when you're sitting there saying, oh, please go back to your original color. Before I realized, and I've done it so many times since that that does happen. We have Miss Sue in Texas. I know it's too late for my email to be included in next week's show, but wanted to say thank you anyway for the beautifully faceted Brazilian green tourmaline that just arrived. Placed it next to the Brazilian green tourmalinated quartz crystal that was also a free gift from you a while back. The magic of the show strikes again, matching one free trivia item with another item you had in the past and that go together. Also, I bought 2 of the Thai ruby parcels you offered a few weeks ago to finish filling up the bottle of faceted rubies I have. Perfectly beautiful. Good health and happiness to all. I forgot, Miss Sue, that, yeah, that's right. You have filled bottles with, and wanted to fill bottles with gemstones. And those parcels of those rubies, and not all were actually Thai. It was just a country I wanted to put the majority were. Was one of the most amazing values, and I couldn't believe it. I had to show a couple of times for them to be sold. It's like, come on, gang. And then another note from Harry, to all of you, never worry or feel bad if you can't buy something every week. We all have had issues, and believe me, I am in my own financial ones. So Harry's having an issue with a truck that cut into his budget, and you know what? That's what I've talked to even Dave about. It's like, man, there's so many other better things to spend your money on than something like a truck repair. It wouldn't matter what you got. So I'm having that issue right now. My big Hemi is, anyway, we won't talk about the truck, but I can feel for you. I have things I need to fix. And I see you have a Jeep, and actually, of course, the Raven has the nicest vehicle in the family, which is an incredible Jeep that has a huge 11-speaker sound system, heated seats. And what kind of Jeep is that, man? That's a sissy Jeep. So anyway, let's see. Harry goes on to say, wow, Shawn, the stuff is awesome. I am curious on how a good grade material would cut a faceted gem. Listen to what he's talking about. I have done a couple in black tourmaline and black onyx, but they are nothing to the great superior polish that the black spinel takes. Remember, I had a black spinel parcel I sold a few weeks ago? Harry got it. I will send some photos. The Bitonite most stones in the lot have fracture veins running right through the center of most of the pieces, but I cut a decent 4-carat square cushion. I want to buy a real high quality rough next paycheck to really put some more money in the gem bank. Thanks again for the spinel. Black spinel, because of its hardness and because of its true black, free of any other color tones, produces and will facet it looks like a black diamond, except even better color resolution. Just that beautiful black with really sharp facets, and because of the hardness, you can get a higher polish. It's a great material, and I'm glad Harry that Harry can take advantage of it like that. Miss Ursa says, Shawn, hello, and can you please check why GSN has not shown your latest video? Okay, there had to be one of you out of the bunch. We almost went through all of the comments without anyone saying I missed my show. According to the playlist, there are 2 available for the publisher. Well, now you know, Miss Ursula, why I didn't make it. But I'm here now. That's all that matters, right? I'm back, and if I'm not, then you know, usually I did all I could to be here. Okay, so it seems like, since we have multiple winners, that the magic of the show, again, has happened, because I just noticed that the winner refers to, he grew up spending summers at Grandma's cottage on a lake in Michigan. Let's show Mr. Brad what he has won. Being the trivia winner this week, it is, look at that, and it's the only one I had left. I actually took it from my own collection. Michigan, look at that, native copper mineral specimen. This is a natural, now, you know what? When you get the rounded ones, those are the ones that the glacier will have picked up over the copper deposit that sits out and is known all the way back even, I believe, to the time long before so Christopher Columbus supposedly discovered America. No, it was discovered well before that. Up the St. Lawrence Seaway into the Great Lakes system, you could have had the incredible Vikings sailing. You also had what was to be believed the Knights Templar have been in there, because you know what? They could not refine copper from ore at the time. And this was, in the world, known world at the time, the only deposit of raw, free copper that was available. And it would be certainly worth sailing across the world to be able to retrieve it. What you could do with the metal in its form like it is. Here's the other neat thing. You see the green? You actually have not only some malachite deposits that will form due to the carbonates, but you also, look at the red here. It might be some cuprite, maybe just some, so some other neat oddities. It also comes with a informational sheet or piece of paper here that tells you right here a little bit of info about it. And pretty neat. Only one I had left, and talking about a guy. Of course, now this one, we all know, would not skip very well. But I tell you what, the Petoskey Stones, which are the round fossilized pieces, would really skip well off of the Lake Michigan. Of course, you don't want to be doing that either on those valuable Petoskey Stones that you could find. So congratulations there, Mr. Brad. Let me tuck everything away, and we will start the show. The first thing the Raven said when she saw this was, "That's not mine from the windowsill, is it?" I knew she was going to ask that. She's got a stunning one right above the sink, and she would miss it in a moment. Oh my. I said, no, you have not laid your eyes on this particular one in a couple of years. We only have a few of these left. At one time, the Raven and I had an amazing collection that we had high graded from having sold these in many years past. Well, these are getting harder and harder to find as time goes on. Look at this one. There is up to 10. Now, this is a perfect example of a phantom. A phantom is where a crystal starts and stops growing once, twice, as many as 10 or more times. And it can be anything from a little bit of dust in the pocket, a change of the hydrothermal solution, any number of things that can cause the stopping of the crystalline growth. It's how many times it does that, and if it leaves a trail behind is what is the cool thing. Oh, let me get my pointer. Look at this. It is so neat to actually see and to see the growth of it. 1, 2, 3. As we come up, you can count 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 visible. It's easier if you actually, I love these. You can literally play with one of these crystals so many times. Yeah, it's easier if you count the lines like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We come down. 7, 8, 9, 10. There's where I got the 10. And it is one of those pieces that you don't need any magnification to see. You can just see it. And it's also one of those that looks really good on a lighted base or a base with a colored bulb. A lot of fun. These are Brazilian. This has a natural reverse impression where another crystal had formed against it right there. Other than that, it has been just polished. The faces as they were naturally. And this is one of the we personally collected. So there will always be a reason why if I'm offering something like this and this late in the game when you're starting to see things from our collection, there's a reason why we kept them to start with. Yeah, Dave's looking at it right here. He goes, okay, you just showed me a lot of different growths that followed the termination of the quartz. Well, what are these? What are these? Look at that. There is another series of phantoms that you can see at the top. And whether they were, look at that. Look at that. Well, you get light, you shine it from different angles, and you can figure out what crystalline axis they were on and what exactly they were all about. That makes that piece special. I have not seen a double phantom like that and something like that. That is only $44. Only $44. A real jewel indeed. Now, let me show you. This goes way back and comes from a friend of mine's mine. Now, those of you that have been around for any length of time know that I know a lot of people throughout the 6 continents I've been to. This is item 1060322. And for that reason, chrysoprase. I know people, my good friends that own the chrysoprase mine. Roddy, he owns the mine where I have gotten so many of our incredible boulder opals from. Bela Vista Mine in Ouro Preto, Brazil. Yes, my friend actually owns, and I've told you the story about him, Imperial Topaz Mine. And until he started this and bought this mine, I did not realize that there was so much until this current present environmental restrictions that are placed on mining. They're actually strict. Of course, unless you're Garampeiro, that is one of the illegal gold miners up in the Amazon, that's a little different. But if you do things by the book, they're quite strict. Now, this is also the story, but I only tell them because I have great stories. I could write a book and stories of my own experiences and stories told to me directly by other mine owners. It would be fascinating. But he left, he actually came and visited me at my store while this occurred. So when he left his mine in, let me get you a price on these while I'm yapping. Okay, look at this, 37 carats. How about this? How about this? These are tumbled. And because it's a hardest of 8, I actually had to use diamond. Remember I used diamond to polish the corundum? Well, look at the polish, the difference that the diamond made on these, a hardness just 1 lower. Much better polish, incredible polish. Look at those irises. That looks like my goodness, does that look like a Mexican opal. But it's not. Those are beautiful irises bouncing off of the inclusions in this topaz. These were 2 I kept And I tell you what, this will be your only chance you get them, because after seeing them like this right now, maybe this is why I kept them. I forget, and then I turn around and sell them, and until I see them underneath the lights again, I was like, wow. So they're both about the same size. You could use them to make earrings, or whatever you wanted, but boy, was that beautiful. So he left his cousin in charge of his mine while he was gone. And fate took an ugly turn. While my friend Sergio was here in the United States, his cousin found the finest Imperial Topaz crystal that my Brazilian gem dealer friend, who is, oh my gosh, he's so knowledgeable and dealt with some of the most magnificent rough of anyone, especially in the Brazilian goods. His cousin found a 6-inch natural color. It was so rich, it was a purplish red color. It's not even imperial. It's only imperial by way of value. By way of the color, it was stunning, just absolutely stunning. And mostly you can only attain those colors. You only find small crystals. This was about a 6-inch long crystal. In the end, the best my friend could discern was that anyone would have paid him upwards of $500,000 for the crystal as it was. His irresponsible younger cousin went on a binger and thought getting $20,000 for this crystal would make him happy. I thought my friend was gonna just literally bury him in the Amazon. So coming from the same mine, these two crystals, I actually have a DVD of the mine. It's amazing where these two came from. And the crystals actually form in a very decomposed matrix. So they're absolutely loose. They're not like the crystals you find in the rhyolite in Utah, Topaz Mountain. No, all of that has been decomposed and has left a harder topaz crystal. So you just really go through the dirt in the mine and pull it out of the shaft that way. And so there had been nicer, smaller things found, but nothing like this. And of all times for that to happen. So the story goes on, but it was once, he said, Shawn, it was a once in a lifetime find for any miner at any level. And I wasn't there for it. So when I think about leaving that gold behind, if I leave that gold behind that I found and just say, like my son, well, Dad, just think it's just that you can have the joy and honor of knowing that you discovered gold, and that should be enough for you to feel proud about. No, sorry, son, I'm not that honorable. This is a conversation we had. I'm not that honorable. I have gold fever. I'm going to get that gold. I'm going to take it, and I am going to use it either personally as the gold as it is, sell the gold as it is, as Georgia gold I found, or whatever. But I am not going to leave it behind. I spent 50 years, my entire life, prospecting. That is what I have dreamed for and dreamed about. And sometimes I think it's what's keeping me wanting to heal completely. So anyway, I could relate to some of these once in a lifetime happenings. All right, $1 a carat, $37. Really? Yeah, really. There we go. And you get an incredible true story to boot that goes with these two crystals that came from the same mine that and when we talk about $500,000, we're not talking about retail or cut value. We're talking about a rough crystal, the value of it as it is, as it exists. Of course, he said it would have cut stones upwards into millions. Oh, poor guy. That's a tough one to take, and man, would I want to give my cousin. Anyway, not going to have any of those. I just discovered those. I thought I'd share them with you, and what a neat thing to share with you indeed. Now, I have got so many cool things. I better quit yapping and get going. 1060222. But of course, part of the yapping part is what you like. You like that information that it goes with, and no one else is going to give it to you if I don't. So what I have next is one of our favored pieces from our geode collection. And now, if I actually showed you Raven's personal basalt Okanite geode, it would be mind-blowing. Yeah, it's big. It's huge. It's like a foot long with incredible cavities. Maybe I'll bring it in sometime and just show all of you. But okay, so check this out. Oh, Dave already is. Look at this. This is so educational. Now, this goes back to zeolites. So let's start off on the outside. We have basalt. Basalt is a volcanic origin rock, and it is what, after you have a basalt flow, you end up with lots of little, okay, picture your pumice rock, especially in the older grills when you had and used pumice rock, real pumice rock they used, and you had all the little tiny holes in the light floating rock. Same thing, except on a bigger scale. You have all these openings in basalt. Well, in those openings, over time, inflows the zeolites, the different chemical compositions that can be similar but very slightly off, and it makes a big difference in the look. Now, in this piece, you have one of the most desired ones, and that's Okanite. Desired because those crystals, they use acicular needles like that. Well, you can see and imagine how easily destroyed they would be in trying to recover or mine a piece. Look at that. Okay, so that's a very desirable zeolite. It's a calcium silicate oxide with water. And it was named in honor of Lorenz Oken, a German biologist. And he went on to do a lot. So he certainly deserved something to be named for him. But now that's not the only thing that might get my pointer. The other thing that I thought was real cool, now make sure you watch which ones I touch so you can be able to tell what is what. Okay, there is a bed of quartz that this is on. So a lot of all these white crystals that you are going to see, that's quartz. But on top of the quartz, there is, now remember, it is not a zeolite, but it is often found with them very commonly. And here it is, prehnite. And prehnites don't have to be green. They're often this color. And one of the ways you can tell the prehnite and separate prehnite from the others, and let me see if I can get the light to reflect off of one here so I can show you what I'm talking about. Let's see. It is, there, Dave, you're genius. Oh, that's going to do it exactly. I can already see what I'm looking for. Okay, boy, I wish I had 3 hands. Okay, I'm going to try to do this. Okay, you see that? Oh, Dave's got everything just perfect. This particular one, the prehnite crystals, because that's what they are, will have little ribbed edges. Okay, so this is a prehnite right here. Let me see if I can hold everything just right and the light. And if you turn it like this, you can see that the prehnite, this is the quartz you see here. The prehnite actually has a very slight color tone. And if we could focus right at the end of that tweezer, you'll see a little bit further back, you'll see that the prehnite basically almost look like pancakes stacked on top of it. There we go, if I catch that angle. There we go. You see those 3 little raised ribs? Well, they actually go all the way around that crystal. And it kind of looks like, there we go. You can see it that way as well. And there may be another way. There's quite a few prenites inside this specimen. And let me show you the other neat thing about this is the other opening in the back. And now we'll give you another cool look with the lights off. And you'll get to see inside. Look at that. Isn't that a neat look? So that's a look you can create at home. And especially with the shadows, colors of the Okanites. The prenites will have a multiple little grooves, I guess, might be a better way. Wow, that looks pretty neat like that. Multiple little grooves around that. Wouldn't that be amazing? A cave like that. But we're not done with the cool stuff in this yet. I'm just having fun looking. And there's a little bit of color to them, as you can see. That's a group of prenite right there. Ah, great camera work. No one else but you and Asif. Only, and Latif, the team, can and know how to shoot pictures like that. You'll see the little bit of ribbing on all of these, the little lines going around them that separate them from the others. Thank you, sir. Now, let me show you the other thing. And remember, not all this information will fit on the tag. So if you get this, you want to make sure you write down the things I say. Okay, you see these two areas right here that are actually brownish in color, and they're reflective on the surface. Well, if you take a black light to them, ultraviolet light, they glow. Well, one of the things that glow quite commonly is calcite. These are actually calcite crystals. Calcite crystals. Now, let me flip this around. Look at those Okanites. This is such a incredible piece. And so, I'm looking for the best angle. Okay, here it is. Look at this crystal right there. Look at that. It looks like a doubly terminated Herkimer diamond. Let me pull that out. Spin this around. That is an apophyllite. That is, an apophyllite crystal in here as well. Look at that. Look at how beautiful it is. Now you see it quite well. It stands out. But you didn't notice it before, but once you know what to look for. And you could search around to see if there are any others. Now, one of the other crystals that can be found in these kind of commonly is lamentite. Remember, that is the bladed crystals. They might be really small, but I didn't see any offhand, but I am leaving some of the discovery to whoever gets this piece as well. So we have quartz, prenite, okanite. There could be gyrolite, by the way, as well. The quartz lining and then the fluorescent calcite. I think that shows really nicely, like in that direction. The light behind it, really cool. You also have a nice little collection of crystals around that area. And I'm going to go ahead and tell you and give you a little clue how this happens. You know how this happens? Why many of them will have one other hole in them? I gave you and told you the story in regards to the amethyst geodes, especially the huge cathedrals. They will make an entrance hole, the miners, big enough to drop an fiber optic cable, camera in there. And they will actually look to see the placement and what is inside before they spend time, or in also know which direction to approach it from. This not nearly as important as the huge Amethyst Cathedrals that make a giant difference on whether you put the saw right through a really incredible calcite formation or something like that, and you know, knock $10,000 off the value of a $100,000 pair. Yeah, Amethyst Cathedrals, they can be 15 feet high and have both halves to them. They're stunning. These, not so big, but they still need to know which direction so they don't mess up those beautiful Okanites. Look at that. Okay, I have this at such an excellent value. This is, again, from the Malad Quarry in the Mumbai suburban district. Yeah, these quarries, many of them have had to be closed because they are right in Mumbai, the city central, which is just, the populace is huge. So it was causing a lot of problems. This is in the Maharashtra district. Price on this piece, only $118. $118. There's no saw cuts. It's a completely natural look. And if you want a really unusual geode with so many cool things going on inside of it, this is perfect for you. Now, let me show you another. Yeah, this is one we don't often get to do, have a geode day, but at the moment, looks like we might be. 1060122. I am going to show you one truly rare geode. And this is exactly that. Rare, rare, rare. Now, there's so many neat things going on with this piece. Okay, so let's first talk about a difficult to pronounce and understand word. It's the Tourmaline. The Tourmaline. That's the one begins with the PS, Tourmaline. And it was originally Greek for small or bald in reference to how it's often found, which is kind of found like goethite with botryoidal formations and whatnot. So that's how it has its origins. Hardness of 5 to 6. And now, here's the neat thing about this specimen is the Tourmaline is sitting on a layer of pyrolusite. Pyrolusite is a manganese 4 plus O2. So basically it's a manganese oxide. A lot of things are called manganese oxides, including, you know, dendrites, okay, that you see in so many things. A lot of people say, oh, it's pyrolusite. They actually have found that they have never technically discovered any of the dendrites to be a true pyrolusite. But what they said that they were using this advanced chemical tools were all these really names I couldn't even pronounce. But they were still all manganese oxides. So if you ever wanted to be really correct on calling a dendrite what it is, just say manganese oxide is what is creating the dendrite, and just stay away from pyrolusite. Even though I've even used the term pyrolusite for explaining what makes up a dendrite. The rest gets really technical. But anyway, this is a piece that comes from a very famous district in New Mexico. It's from Socorro County, and it's kind of known as the Manganese District. Not a gold district, like so many other places out west have their gold and silver districts and all this. This is a manganese district, not quite as exciting, except when it comes to a specimen like this. All right, if that looks like a bunch of little fuzzy crystals, you'd be right. That is the Tourmaline. I thought I brought in a specimen quite some time ago that had even much longer acicular growth, like the Okanite, acicular, meaning kind of needle-like. These are the same thing, except much shorter. And if you look right back here, you can see kind of a good picture there of those acicular needles, just a little shorter than the Okanites. And as you look around this and catch them, at the right angle, you can see that this geode is full of them. Now, what they are growing on is a bed. Look at that. Look at that. These are the crystals. Look at that. Now that is the bed of pyrolusite, of the pyrolusite. And as you can see the pyrolusite actually alters. You have pyrolusite, selameline, pyrolusite, selameline on this particular one. Now, if we take that repeating pattern and multiply it many more times and think about the crown of thorn mine, which is in Mexico, the finest location for selameline and pyrolusite pieces, so much so that they make jewelry and cut cabochons from them. Look at this. So this is where the two have come together here towards the end. This specimen is stunning. Look at the exterior even. And believe it or not, it looks almost like limonite. Like you keep on brushing it, it'd be dirty, dirty, dirty. I actually rinsed this off and washed this off, and it wasn't like limonite. It wasn't. It actually wasn't as dusty and dirty as I thought it would be. Now I'm turning this. Look at this neat formation within it. This is, look at these beautiful crystals where you get to see the pyrolusite crystals and the selameline interacting together. Look back in those cavities back in there. Look at those little crystals. Look at see the brownish red color mineral? Look at the little crystals coming up from them. I mean, it looks otherworldly. And then look at way deep down in there. Look at that. This has so much to offer by way of visual impact. And when you go and try to find something else like this, including using the resource of Mindat, which would have every type of look of the different mineral formations in it, there isn't any. There wasn't. It was just simply no other geode type, which was really kind of striking to me. I couldn't really believe it. Geode looking type specimens. So it made me realize that this was actually a much rarer piece than I had thought. So if you want it, it's only $118. And it would be very difficult to even find another one. And I think by way of, if you were looking at a price, I don't even know how you would price shop one, because there is was just so little available when it came to having a pocket. Now you could get these bigger pieces that had the two together and whatnot, but in a formation like that, that was really, really most unusual. $118, and you know what? These pieces are. We're going to show them once. It's going to be take it. If you don't take it, it's going back home, because these are tough to share. These are tough to share. Okay, I guess I need to quit talking. Okay, okay. Wait till you see what I got for you next. Wait till you see. I thought I had a crown of yeah, here it is. I'm going to segue right into 958620. And this is going to, well, it's not exactly the segue I wanted, but it's going to be, I thought I had the crown, the Tourmaline pendant, but this is close to a segue. Okay, what we have, now remember, the metaphysical world loves to give names, fancy names to things that other people don't understand what they are. This is actually Dendritic Agate. And remember, we were just talking about dendrites and how many people say, oh yeah, that's a pyrolusite inclusion. Well, technically they've discovered it's not an absolute pyrolusite, but whatever, all these other things are, no matter what, they're these really unusual ionic, very similar, just something just very different off it. So you can just call them all manganese oxides. So this is manganese oxide, and it is embedded with the agate. Now, they call this merlinite. They have given it a name instead of just saying dendritic agate, of course, with the Tourmaline, and merlinite, of course, named after the famous wizard Merlin. You can look up its metaphysical properties and enjoy it for that. This has a very cool hat rim bezel, like the bezel that the Raven put around her Montana agate. This is a New Mexico agate. So this is actually from the same manganese belt of New Mexico. Pretty cool. The metaphysical realm believes that it brings magic and good luck, and it helps connect to the psychic world, and it helps one to embrace change in one's life. Boy, I've needed a bucket of that a couple of times in my life. All right, sterling silver hat rim bezel, frosted finish on the back, so it doesn't matter if it gets scratched up. Nice size bail on this, and a sale price indeed. You believe this? I'm not gonna believe it. $38. Only $38. I only laugh because I think of, oh my goodness, how long it would take to make that bezel. My. So you can have a connection with a piece of jewelry with the geode if you wish. And give me a moment. Let me clean up my mess. I'll be right back. I have a treat for somebody if they want to appreciate a specimen that I have never had the opportunity to have one from this country, Romania. And better than that, I love the name Carpathian Mountains. I love the whole idea of Transylvania and the mystical side to Romania, if you're familiar with it at all. Of course, that's the original theoretical beginning of the, where gypsies are from and whatnot. But it's also where Vlad the Impaler, who gave rise to the now modern day, vampire. And Vlad the Impaler was actually a ruler, and he got that name by putting the heads of his enemies on a pole. So invading armies would enter the realm, and they would see this huge, large number of heads on a pole. That would be intimidating. I mean, remember psychological warfare back then? it wasn't cyber warfare. It was warfare in another way, and they had to do what they had to do. So that's how I got the name. This piece is from the Carpathian Mountains. It is from, and that's why there's a sense of mystery even to this piece, because it is from a mine. Now, I would not be able to B-A-I-A-I-A-A. Lots of vowels. So let's say Bahia Spree Mine. Anyway, you can look it up and figure out the pronunciation yourself. The mine was started in the 14th century and only closed in 2006. Think about that. That is a run of over 700 years. There are miles of tunnels, miles of tunnels. One of the main things that has been mined in there is antimony. Antimony is one of, in these new modern batteries, it is one of the elements needed. Probably a reason why it had been kept open for so long. The Latin word, stibnite gets, and the abbreviation on the periodic table of elements is SB for antimony, which is really unusual, but it's from the Latin word stibium, is the origin of that. Hardness of 2. Now, the whole chemical formula is just Sb2S3, so it's an antimony sulfide. Let me show you just how striking this is. Look at this. Now, remember the other specimen that I showed you of stibnite was from Japan, and it had the stibiconite on it. That other really rare yellowish color mineral that would form along the crystals in that Japanese specimen. Well, we took that back home. Gave you a couple chances. Nope. So I thought, okay, well, I want one of them. So we'll see if anyone wants this one instead of the other. Let me show you. There's so much cool about this piece. As we go in closer, look at the spray. Look at the way this stibnite forms. And then often there's an iridescence oxidation on it. Let's go in closer. Look at this. Look at these sprays. Then, as we go in close, look at that. Can you imagine if you're a little person and you're walking around the ledge and you look back in there, kind of like the selenite in the Nika mine in Mexico, except these would be big metallic crystals. And look at this. This is druzy chalcedony sparkling all around. Now, as I turn this, or I don't know which direction, look at this. Look at this spray. Yeah. Let me get an additional, I think I need about 4 arms here. Let me get some additional lighting if needed so we can peek back into the netherworld. Remember the Carpathian Mountains. Look back how far in that crevice those crystals, how they have formed. And in all those directions. Look at this. This is why I go crazy over this stuff. Oh, did you see that? Did you spot it? I certainly did. If I had a third hand, you see that crystal right there? I'll show you that in a minute. As we finish out this opening, this fissure, we can look back in there and it would be so easy to, as you see this, okay, you see this. So the reality of this particular piece, you can see how the crystals found enough room to grow in this fissure. And this fissure is where the rock has split. You could actually very easily probably pop this hole, as you see it go around, up, but you would ruin a lot of crystals and the whole specimen, so don't do it. But Mother Nature doesn't always make that decision. Oftentimes, rock slides, earthquakes, all kinds of things can do that for you. And that's how crystals wind up loose or in a different form than they started out. Look at how the different, almost brecciated quartz looks there. Now, I'm going to sit this down for a moment, and we're going to go right into that little spot, and I'm going to get a poker, because let me show you what makes this really cool. Is there is another mineral along with this that, until I noticed it, I didn't notice it. But once there it is, right there. Look at that. It is glass clear, and a beautiful shape and formation. So once I saw one, then I started looking around it, and then up top, look at all these others. I found more. And the different shapes, but all of them very, very clear and very crystalline. Look at that. Look at the shapes of them right there. And then look at over here. See, look at all these. Look at them all. Look at. When I was first spinning this around, I bet nobody noticed those. But now that you know they're there, you start, they start standing out. And they are, look it back in there. There's more of them. They're scattered. Look at right there. I don't want to knock one with my tweezers. So right there, the end of my tweezers, another one. And so on. Now, determining exactly what they were was very difficult, because there was only really it was easy. I did fluorescence and whatnot, so I could pretty well determine they were not calcite. And being the fact of where this was from, it came together and made sense. This particular mine, gypsum was already found, is found alongside and with the stibnite in this particular mine. And the list of minerals, now think about it, after mining for 700 years, you know there was a reason why they kept mining, because it kept producing. And so all kinds of mine, from gold to silver, all kinds of things over the many, many hundreds of years have been found there. And gypsum is what they call it. Now, selenite, remember, selenite is really just the clear version of gypsum. And it was named after the Greek word for moon, because of the bluish type of reflections and that can come off of it. Now, so that's in the world of gypsum. You have the selenite, then you have gypsum, which is the more common type of form of it. Then you have alabaster, which is the opaque and easily carvable form of gypsum. I bet a lot of you didn't know that alabaster was a form of gypsum. And a lot of people think and associate alabaster with like marble or onyx, something like that. And many times alabaster is sold as marble, and that's a travesty, because in the real world, marble is a more valuable and harder mineral. So you need to know what to look for, because in visually, marble is a crystallized limestone basically, and you're able to see crystalline reflections in marble. And if you look at enough marble, and I know because I have the marble capital of the United States pretty much just right up the road from where I live, and I have brought back marble and I've showed you. So big difference in value between marble and alabaster. Alabaster, you can sit and carve while you're watching TV. It is that soft. Alabaster, soft material, and fun to work with if you ever wanted to. Look at that. Look at that crevice right there. Look at that crevice. Look at the druzy chalcedony around this piece. Now, what was amazing, look at all the, see all the little sparkles, was, here's another little area of crystals, was that no radioactivity to it. No, nothing like that. And only fluorescence was around a couple of areas that I think were some calcite. But this piece is one of those really showy pieces, and its origin being what it is, and the mine that it's from, how rare and unusual is that? Now, this stand is just for me to kind of prop it up so I can show it to you in some fashion, but that's not the one. There's going to be a direction on that that's better than what I just did. There we go. That kind of shows it off. The reflections off of the stibnite are stunning. This piece at an amazing, excellent value, because it's like one of those, okay, where are you going to find another one? $178. $178. And wow, look how big that is. So that's what they would call a medium size cabinet specimen, and certainly extremely rare, especially due to the locality. That's one to show off. That's one to show off. All right, I gotta get going. 105-9922. But I had these really neat pieces that you can't just show and go because they have so many technical things about them. If I don't tell you about them, you'd never know. Now, look at this one. Now, you've seen a version of this before. So here we go from a little bit different level of a specimen. We have something for everybody. But if you look at a specimen like that at a show, you'd be amazed at how much they would actually be asking for something like this. It would be far more than the $44 is all that I want. Let's go in close and show you. Look at that. This is pink tourmaline. Incredible pink tourmaline that is very much like the stibnite in the way they grew together, except these grew so close together that, look at the ends of them, that quartz filled in around them and made it as one piece. But look at these other incredible individual crystals. Look at these. Beautiful color. And I've actually taken another piece of this and sawed one of these in two different directions. One from the ends, so you only saw it from the ends. The other from the sides, and it looked really cool from the sides and in the light. Like if you took the saw blade and did that. That's one other neat fun thing to do. But leave it like it is for $44. Why not? Why not? What a spray of pink tourmaline for only $44 on that one. Quite unusual. Oh, wait, I've got something fun for you in a minute. Now let me show you item 1060522. Now, this one moment here. Let me show you something that you have not seen. This was the one of a kind that came in long ago with a batch of Peruvian specimens that I got, and it was the only one. And we've enjoyed it. You have one shot at if one of you want to enjoy it. Look at this, rhodochrosite. we seldom get to say that word around here, but in the world of rhodochrosite, all of it is valuable. All of it is desirable. This formation, again, it is normally looks like a parallelogram, okay? You know, like a calcite crystal. We won't talk about crystal forms and get you confused there. But it doesn't normally look like this. Let's go in as close as we can, and you're going to see this. Look at that. Boy, that is a true, excellent job on the camera. Look at that. A true baby pink. Look at the formation, and then look at the quartz crystals intermingled with the rhodochrosite. Sometimes there'll be pyrite. I was surprised that I did not find any pyrite. I tell you what, if I find any pink quartz with this accidentally, if someone discovers it, pink quartz, of course, crystallized pink quartz, not rose quartz, pink quartz, which is a crystallized quartz that's pink. This is how you might find one, is where the manganese, because remember, rhodochrosite is a manganese carbonate, MnCO3. Told you we talk chemistry here. If some of that coloring agent spills into a quartz crystal, just like gem silica, just like you get the copper from chrysocolla that bleeds into the quartz, look at the difference in the value it makes. Well, if that happens in the case of quartz, then just add zeros to the price. Look at this. I want to show you something so cool. Look at this. So you know what occurred there? That is where etching happens, where something else was there and it was dissolved out. And then you had some additional growth. Look at that. It is a bridge of rhodochrosite over there. That is, formations like that in a specimen add value to it. Add value to it. And you can see that there was etching going on and occurring all around this piece. And then I think what happened is the rhodochrosite formed afterwards. My guess, what do I know? But when you get to looking carefully and at different angles, those quartz crystals pop up everywhere. Pop up everywhere. Out of that rhodochrosite, this is phenomenal and extremely collectible and desirable. It is from the Huron mine in Pasco, Peru, a very rare shape for the crystals. And if you have any other rhodochrosites, you certainly would be making a magnificent statement by adding to your collection with a piece like this. There's not going to be another one, and this is one-time showing. If it does not get sold in this showing, it will not be marked down, and it will be returned to, well, I know exactly where it'll be returned to. How about this? A real beauty, $128. $128, and it's one of those that you can say, well, go find another one. Good luck. Good luck. Again, geologically, that says a lot. And that's what you have to do. Pieces have to speak to you if you know about geology and things about that, and kind of tell you. It almost looks like a critter like that. It looks like a unicorn. There's the eye. I don't know. Yeah, maybe I'm like Mr. Brad, looking at my crystal specimen too long. I'm beginning to see things in it that I want to be there. Okay, now, let's look at 7, 8, 88, 18. That's a lot of 8s. That's very auspicious. So a great specimen indeed. Wow, look at that. Now, that is a huge, look at the size of that, huge zircon crystal from Pakistan. And the fluorescence in these is a phenomenal yellow. It is such a really strong fluorescence. Biotite mica. You can see biotite by how dark it is. This would be one that, I was looking at the shape of that crystal. I was going to say you could always clean and remove some of the other matrix away if you're into specimen preparation, but it's certainly beautiful left alone. Look at all these other crystals dotting it all around it, and if you want to find them, go into the closet. Go into a dark room. Put a fluorescent light on that and it'll light it up. This was an amazing deal I had before. I'm going to keep it the same deal. Let's keep it at only $38. Only $38. And for that large of a crystal, from as exotic of a place that it is, that's one you want. All right. Let's have some fun with, well, we'll get there in a moment. Item 971520. 971520. Now, a moment ago, we were talking about selenite and how it got its name. Well, look at this. These, very cool. Moonstone, Orissa, which is in India, very prolific mine producing area. And you've seen moonstones. Dave has found his own crystals up around the rivers and Lake Lanier here. I certainly have. I told you about my huge discovery. I brought in that 4-inch crystal I found at a site. Well, this is a pair of earrings, big silver backs, as you can see. This is from the collection of the Raven. If you want them yellow, I will 18 karat gold yellow plate them for no additional cost. Look at the cat's eyes. So if Moonstone, also June's birthstone, and how about this? For the pair, with the price of silver these days, wow, $21. $21. Those large silver backs would be worth that. Okay, let me show you something. These next items, I have not shown you anything like them before. Item 1059222. 1059222. And let me just clean the turntable for one moment here. What I have these are from a real old collection. I mean, going back decades. But back in my day, which was decades ago, there was a period of time where they were really popular in the form that I'm getting ready to show you. Now, seldom would you see anything of this quality. Let me show you an Opal Doublet. Wow. Look at this. Now, this is calibrated 20 by 15. And if you have opal, that the seam of opal, the fire layer, is really strong, but the entire opal is really thin, and you know it cannot be made into a piece of jewelry. Well, what they would do, and still do, is they would back it, and I've shown you doublet material before by backing it with black onyx, or spinel would be used. But to me, the best material was opal on opal. A lot of times, ironstone, the equivalent of the matrix material to boulder opal, would be used. And that way it would look more natural. Well, there's a couple things there. for one, let me give you the buyer beware. I've been in Australia, traveled all over it for a long time, been out to Lightning Ridge, been down in the mines, been to the opal shops in Sydney. And here's the rub. They are known to set doublets in a bezel all the way around so you cannot see the side. If you cannot see the side of an opal, you can be sold something that's completely a solid opal. You can be misled and not even be told anything about a doublet and just say, yes, look at this beautiful opal, blah, blah, blah. And they will do that. They will do that. They will sell you without revealing and telling you that it is a two-part piece. And that bezel is intentional so it can't be discovered. Even on the high-end material, I have seen and myth-busted many opals that have been misrepresented over time by other methods of being able to determine that they are not solids. Okay, let me show you. Let me show you. The really, this is probably the one of the best ones I am going to show you because, for one, it's stunning, stunning natural color. Now, what you would do, because this is actually opal on opal. So if you bezel set this piece, all right, what's making it look dark is, I would make these. I took a whole separate course on creating doublets. And you see that little black layer right there? That is using RIT dye and epoxy crushed together. In other words, you crush the RIT dye, mix it into your epoxy, so you have a black epoxy, and that's how you put your opal on top of your other opal, right? Follow me. Then, if you bezel set this piece, let me show you the back. What do you see? Look at the opal, look at the fire. You would have no idea that it is not a solid opal, that it is not a one-piece opal, and have no idea that it's a doublet. And let's go in close to the edge and let me just show you how thin the actual layer of precious opal is. And I used to cut them down this thin as well. It gives you a really dark top, making it look like a black opal. And so then you look at it and the back, when it's set in the mounting and you see all this fire on the back, and believe me, the tourist market is a huge market. I've been down in New Zealand, in Queenstown, in southern New Zealand, and it is Opal City. And there's a lot of Asians, a huge market of people to be deceived. And once you're gone, you travel away, you know, that's the end of your story. And you may never know that it is not what it was sold to you as. Because unless you cut the ring apart and separate that bezel, you will never see the edge of it. And why would you ever want to do that? Unless, you know. So things were really, it's one of those buyer bewares. In this case, you're buying it loose. You get to see it as it is. This is a stunning opal on opal Australian doublet, done the right way, using even the dyed epoxy, everything. I would put my name on this, except I didn't make it. Except I didn't make this one. This is an incredible quality doublet. And being the opal on opal, it gives you all the bang for the very little buck. Because I tell you what, that look right there, what, in a black opal, 20,000, 30,000 kind of thing, 2,000, 3,000, where do you want to be? I tell you what, all those numbers are a lot more than, ready? Then the $63 I want. $63, $10 a carat, $63. That is actually a very, very well done piece. I actually really would have been proud to have made that as a doublet. And beautiful. Recommend it for a pendant, ring, whatever you want to do with it. Now, let me show you. 1059322. 1059322. I was able to get a special collection of these, and that's why I have a few I'm offering. And some of them I did not have time to be able to really remove they were adhered to like a display board. Okay, so all you need to do is take alcohol or acetone and remove the tape off the back. So that's what you're seeing here is just some of that tape. And you can take something sharp and just scrape that off. Oh, yeah, the item number? This is just stuff that can be removed with some acetone. So the description of this one is Australian Opal Doublet. Let's see. Here we go. I might need the other bag. Australian Opal Doublet, the weight, wrong bag, yep. Australian Opal Doublet, the weight on this one is 5.30 carat. It measures 16.5 by 13.5. And it's an estate piece. I say that in this case because it's obvious with the stuff stuck on the back. Look at this one. Look at this opal. Holy moly. Look at that. Now, again, look at that fire band. You know if that miner found that opal with that color, and look how thin that is. Wouldn't he have loved for that to have been thick enough to cut that color opal on its own? But again, done the right way. The dyed epoxy, and then look at using natural opal. And this natural opal actually isn't too bad because it has a dark bluish color base to it. Quite attractive, actually. And stunning. Look at the reds in that. I mean, wow. That, what, in a black opal? $50,000. That'd probably be conservative. Price, my price on this one at 5.30 carat. Let's only do this at $68. $68. That is a jewel. That is a jewel in the world of doublets. Because again, the opal on opal part, to me, that counts for a lot in doing it correctly. All right, let's show you some fun stuff. 1059722. And in this batch, we have Mosaic Opal Doublets. And again, they have some of the tape on the back, but that tells you they are coming straight from a state. Let me show you. Look at these. Okay, now, these are sort of mosaic, sort of, well, they're still referred to as mosaic. So what they do is they take all other little size pieces, and you can see all the different colors of fire. Oftentimes, look at that, they're much thicker, but again, they were too small to really do anything else with them. These are probably on black onyx. This is a set of 3. I am not kidding. I am offering all 3. Look at that. It looks like 2 might be a good looking pair, or yeah. Wow. Wow. Look at that. Again, I got these as an estate deal, and you have to realize that, because other than that, I don't even know where I might find anything like these. Again, same thing, the dyed epoxy in between the pieces, then they're polished down from above. All 3. You're gonna love me for this, all 3. $24. $24. Run to the phone. Item 105-9622. 105-9622. You can imagine, no one has done this where they glue them to the boards. I remember decades ago when you'd go to a show, and that's how they would do it. It was a security thing, so you could look at them, and, they didn't have to worry about being toted off or anything. Look at these 2. So here is 2 more. You can see the opal, a lot thicker in this material. But again, the pieces you can see are just that. And this is how they were able to use them. But they would be even more creative now and might get a better use out of some of these than what they're doing. I'm not sure. They're too thin to really use in jewelry, except not all jewelry. I've seen some use that thin. But to be able to get a piece as a whole, I don't know. I don't know the reasoning. I just know opal like this, even this quality, would be used differently now. The price of both of these, again, another whopping opportunity for you. And that would make, how about, I don't know. I don't even know. I'm just going to make them so inexpensive you can't go wrong. $18 for the pair. I kid you not. $18 for the pair. Again, old stuff. Item 105-8522. And I told you the further I go along, the more crazy and unusual and stuff you're going to keep seeing coming out of our extensive estate. What I have next and is a set. Now this goes back to the true mosaic opal. The true mosaic opal. This is when the cutters, with all these little pieces, didn't know what else much to do with them. You couldn't smash them up like you could to create gemstone paintings, and we'll still talk more about that another day. But they still wanted to do something with them. They were too thin to be able to cut as cabs, so they would create mosaics like this and then cut them down from above. They would flatten one side that had the color. They'd put the color side down. Then they come in and sand them and grind them down from the other side until they hit that same color bar that they placed fireside down. Look at these. These 3 are pretty cool, actually. That's the true mosaic without being square or rectangular. And, the back of these is a... it looks like a more natural, yet somewhat porous material, almost like a darkened ironstone or something. But all 3 pieces, $24. $24. And I really have no idea what that kind of stuff goes for, but I know that has to be for the look. A good value indeed. Now let me show you something I actually was only, have seen almost none of in all my years. And these have to, this method has to go back, I don't know how long, I don't know how far back, but this is one time you can certainly call this stuff estate. Item 1059422. 1059422. Now, look at this. I'm not sure everything going on here and the creation and what they did, but there's 3 pieces. Look at this. Look at this. Would that not make beautiful like a tile on your bathroom counter or something? Oh my, look at how large some of these opal pieces are. This is all, of course, Australian opal. That would be, we had a house in Florida, and it was, the bathroom floors were cold, but in Florida, it was all right. They were all done with these little square tiles. Terrazzo floor was different. It had a name, but there were all these tiny, like almost half the size of these squares. And when I see this, it's like, wow, now that would be a bathroom Shawn would like if I had a bunch of little squares of opal tile for a floor, for a countertop, for anything. Here's 3. You can cut these up and do whatever you want if you're a cutter, or keep them just as they are as something unique. Let me show you though. Now let me show you. This is, remember I talked about back bevels before, and how Mr. Anthony said that he really appreciated me showing and telling him that he does back bevels on all his material. And I said, yeah, it totally prevents the edges from chipping. Look at this. Look at this one. This had no back bevels, and this is what has happened to it. You can see the line. See that line? That line is created by a scribe that us cutters use, lapidary, that stays on there when the water's on there. So you can follow your pattern. So you can see the chips along the edge, but if you put a bevel right along that edge, none of that will occur. None of that will occur. And all 3 of these, and I had a note on the bag to make sure I pointed that out, because that's how important making back bevels are. What a difference. So you can see where these could be cut into smaller sections. So what it is, it's going to be an epoxy type resin that has been mixed and created. I think they're neat. And I think that, wow, if you did nothing but pretty much in a display case or something like that, wow, that's kind of cool, actually. But how about this? Oh, having too much fun here. All 3 of them. There's got to be still enough opal in there to be worth the whopping price of. How did it do that? That went off of there and stayed up on its side. Going to be a lucky day. $27. $27 for all 3 pieces. That's a unique oddity for certain. Now, let me show you. I have that, going to give you one more chance at something. Item 1053122. 1053122. This is going to give, if any of you missed out before, a chance at, a Japanese garnet. A Japanese rainbow garnet. 1053122. And one of the really fine ones is still available. Look at that. Look at that dodecahedron pattern. 1053122. Oh, yeah, $27 for the 3. Yep. Here we go. let's put these back up so we can capture a screenshot of that amazing deal of only $27 for the 3. All right, now, moving, look at this. So, I don't know what was wrong with all of y'all. Maybe you closed your eyes, but look at this. This was an incredible Japanese rainbow iridescent garnet, the Dendritic garnet one. It was a world-class piece due to its dodecahedron shape, to those, look at the colors, very well-defined crystal faces, and then, of course, even the back of them. And look at all the little different angles. Look at that. Have stunning, stunning colors. Wow, look at that. Look at that. 2.35 carat, I think, or so. From, let's see, do we have the right 1053122? 31, yes, sir. 1053122. Yep, perfect. A real beauty. A real beauty. How about this? $44. Only $44 on that one. And it comes with one of those suspension boxes. And for another budget, 1053222. 1053222. And this in a suspension box as well. And if you don't know what that is, that's just one of these boxes that you see. They're great because you can see the entire specimen from both sides. I love these. I actually sell them if you want to buy them. I sell them by like 10 pieces if you want. Look at this. Look at this one. So the colors on just about every face. You know, I went online and I looked up how much they're asking for these very poor crystal pieces that have like no color and are like in the average range of 70 to 80 points. And the price, I think, on them were $79 a piece. My price on this, $24. $24. It's over 1 carat. So that is certainly a way to add your collection without breaking the bank on there. Wow, that's got some beautiful color in all kinds of different directions there. Okay, now let me show you. This is probably the best value we have on something that we have sold so many beautiful pieces of. 704117. 704117. And you can see this comes in a Riker mount box. Has a little bit of wear to it, but it's been certainly keeping it protected for a while. Gemstone knife. Gemstone knife. The real deal gemstone knife where there's not a bit of metal. I've seen other knives offered as gemstone knives and they're almost all metal except like a little cabochon in the handle or something. No, this is the real deal made by the Johnsons. Kelly is amazing. It's signed, his initials right there. And this one, KJ, is made from, you should be familiar, Mexican bird's eye rhyolite. Rhyolite, yeah, you could almost picture opal. As a matter of fact, there is opal right there. Because rhyolite and Mexico go hand in hand. That is how most of the Mexican opal is formed, in the little pockets that are left in rhyolite, which is a volcanic material. And there, that looks like some silica right there. The bird's eye part, you can certainly see and understand that from this. Then look at the blade. Keokuk, Iowa. Yes, Iowa even getting in on the act for having some wonderful, wonderful cryptocrystalline quartz, which is, this is related to flint. So this would have been some of the early natives to the country and the material they would use, you know, because you can actually use this multiple times. A obsidian arrowhead might be really sharp, but I tell you what, you get one use out of it. After that, it's going to break into a million pieces and shatter like glass. You can see the size of this. This is the hafting dyed by his wife, and this blade is notched, the handle's notched where they go in together. This is a beautiful, beautiful collection, everything blended and color matched. And I am going to actually sale price this. I am going to sale price this piece, and let's do it for only $118. $118 on that. And we're getting right down to the end of the show, but there's something here I think you missed from before. 105-4622. What a stunning color. Look at the two colors together. Look at that. Now that's one of my spray polishes, but it's just perfect. Just a nice matte finish, gives it that wet look. Beautiful, beautiful ruby in the, zoisite. Yeah. In zoisite, and the black is pargasite. You know, for years it was called shermacite. They got it wrong locally, and that name carried forward for a long, long time. They finally determined the black was not a type of hornblende, but a pargasite. Anyway, this piece, very striking for the colors together like that. And I am, how about this? Let's do a sale price on this one and make it only $44. $44 sale price. Wow. And let's do the last item coming up here. Let me see if I can find something. Wow, that's really cool, but here we go. There is so many fun things to choose from, but let's do this. 1043521. 1043521. And since we had talked about gyrolites or zeolites earlier, well, you know how oftentimes I like to end with a zeolite. And this is neat because this adds another zeolite if you collect them, and it's the gyrolite. So this is a great way for you to learn the difference between all the different zeolites, which you really should know. And the difference between gyrolite and okanite is the acicular needles. It's still oftentimes the two are confused, but gyrolite will have those rounded formations, but won't have all the little fine needles that come up. Look at that. You have a wonderful apophyllite right there. Oh, look at that. I don't think that pink's real. That's probably some of Shawn's marker on that just some acetone, maybe. I don't know, maybe some new rare mineral. Oh, there's something unique down in there. So remember, the green, celadonite. The white on the back, gannardite. There's the celadonite. Look at those crystals. And the round white, there's your gyrolite. This is, and the mirror apophyllite, tucked away right there. That's a good educational specimen, and I'm going to price it so that it represents that. How about it? I'm going to mark this big sale, big time sale, $12. $12, and we'll end the show with that. We'll be right back with the trivia. Always over too quick. And I always have so many unfinished thoughts and things going around in my head to share with you, especially when I haven't been with you for 2 weeks. Then I'm overloaded. And yeah, really, I look down to the things I show you. I say, oh, I meant to want to tell them about this or tell them about that. But it was already, I didn't get to as many pieces as I wanted to. So, all right, they'll be next week, right? Okay, so before I forget, I want to make sure I mention again, Happy Mother's Day, a day later, to all you moms out there. And we don't know where we'd be without you. Now, I have 2 trivia questions, and both of them pertain to the show. Notes are acceptable. Fast forward and rewind is not. After all, you want to be able to retain the information given, and some of it may be a little exotic and, you know, on the fringes of what you might normally not ever run across. But if it ever comes up among Rackhound friends and you know something that's like, wow, you know, didn't know you knew that. Well, maybe you found it out right here in this show. So, question number 1. And remember I talked to you before how, you know, the show gets, we get to, we give you that additional information that really helps tie together why an emerald is green or an aqua is blue and some others aren't. And we give you the whole information so that you can make a purchase of any value and feel confident in it and know that right here at Gem Shopping, all the information you need to make that confident purchase is right here under the house. You just have to find the information and know where to find it on the website. And, you know, and if you want a ground up, I don't mean like ground up, but from the ground, Mother Earth up show, this is it, because it all starts in beautiful specimens and minerals coming from the ground. Question number 1. What metal is present in pyrolusite and Tourmaline? What metal is present in pyrolusite and Tourmaline? Easy enough, right? Question number 2. Stibnite is an ore of what metal? Stibnite is an ore of what metal? I think both of those are kind of easy for you today. Maybe next week we'll make it a little harder. Okay, so starting over. Show number 1. I am going to have a long run this time. I'm not going to miss any shows because I'm going to try to not be stupid. And, you know, but again, it was all about me just wanting to get back to normal and, you know, feel better so I can take that excavator and go dig up the gold. God bless all of you. Stay safe. Hug and love your neighbor, friends, and family. And remember to always step on Mother Earth. If you always just stay on concrete and man-made substrate under your feet, you'll never be fully grounded. I love all you. Appreciate all of you so very much. And I really look forward to seeing you at the next show. Cheers.